All right, so this afternoon, we have a lot of fundamental events at least between now and end of day. And that's what our focus is going to be on. We're looking strictly at the fundamental events. Good afternoon, Mr. Motosho. All right, so by 2:30 p.m., you know the daylight savings is on now. So instead of having some of this news by 1:30 p.m., it's going to be 2:30 p.m. going forward till the 30th or the last day of March 2025 before we revert to the previous time zone that we're on. So by 2:30 p.m., that will call PPI from the United States and PPI also. Also, there'll be unemployment claims, all of them from the United States by 2:30 p.m. Volatility is really expected. Later by 5 p.m., there'll be crude oil inventories, and by 8 p.m., the ECB President Lagarde will give a speech. Later again by 10 p.m., the Fed Chair Powell will give a speech, and by that's from the United States. By 10 p.m., the Bank of England, Governor Bailey will also give a speech. But then our emphasis is going to be the news by 2:30 p.m. That's what we are much more concerned about. But with all these other events happening later today, I will advise that you take a lot of caution with technical trading because these news events could still destabilize the market one way or the other, at least maybe from 5 p.m. upwards. At least between 2:30 and 4-5 thereabouts, you can still pick a few trades. Okay, so we'll look at this event. PPI measures the change in the price of finished goods and services sold by producers, excluding food and energy. And actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. Also, PPI is the change in the price of finished goods and services sold by producers. Again, actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. And for unemployment claims is the number of individuals who filed for unemployment insurance for the first time during the past week. Actual less than forecast is good for the currency. So we can say that there's really no correlation between the PPI, core PPI, and the unemployment claims. So the one we're going to be looking out for is if the data is going to be good or bad for the dollar, because if you look at actual greater than forecast and the others, that may not give us the best, as it may not be that easy to interpret our expectations. So if the news comes out completely good for the dollar, either as a greater than or less than, we'll see a green data here. That tells us the data is good for the dollar. And with that, we'll be looking for opportunity to buy the dollar. And if on the other hand, the news is bad for the dollar, it's going to be a color red. And in that instance, we expect, a bearish movement in the dollar. Now, it's possible to have conflicting reports here where maybe one or two may be red and the other one may be green because these events are not that related. So that is a possibility. If such happens, that will lead to a spike. But I'll flip now to the technicals because there are quite a number of technical setup that is already forming ahead of this news event. Firstly, we'll take a look at the dollar index. The dollar index gives us a picture of what is happening to the dollar. So if you look at the dollar index on the weekly time frame, you can see that the dollar index is trading around the tip of a resistance on the weekly time frame. Let's still take it down to the daily. You can still see it on the daily. It's actually touching the tip of the resistance level on the daily time frame. And at resistance level, we're looking for an opportunity to sell. It's a seller's zone. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, then we'll be expecting a crash, in the US dollar, which will favor the technical setup we're seeing for now. So what favors the setup now is the news that comes out bad for the dollar. If the news comes out good for the dollar, it means the volatility will be strong enough to break this resistance level. But for now, I want to go with the bearish direction because price is on the resistance level. So with that in mind, I am bearish on the dollar ahead of the news we're expecting. So with that, I'll go and check USD CHF. So here's the CHF, as you can see on the weekly. I think let's look at it on the daily, but there seems to be a slight change from the last time I checked the analysis a couple of hours back. But the trend line on the weekly time frame is touching, the candle, the daily candle today. And if we still want to flip further, let's look at the daily time frame. Here we can see that the upper part of the trend line here, and price is still touching it on this other side. And there's a corresponding resistance here given the confluence. So technically, we're still expecting a sell on USD CHF. So we're bearish on the USD CHF. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, we'll be looking at selling the USD CHF. And if we want to look at it technically too, for those who might want to take a technical trade afterwards, we can still draw our trend line here again, and a second one at the back to give us a rising wedge. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, we're expecting a sell on USD CHF. Also, be expecting, since we are bearish on the dollar, be expecting a bullish movement on GBP USD and AUD USD. For GBP USD, on the weekly time frame again, you can see there is an uptrend there on the weekly, and with a confluence on a support. That's the tip of the candle. So we have a confluence zone here, almost like a corresponding support zone here also. So technically, we're looking at buying the GBP USD. Can still flip back to the 1 hour time frame, and this is what we'll have, where we can still draw our trend lines, and we still have a valid falling wedge. So we're looking at an opportunity to buy the GBP USD. Likewise, like I said, we're buying the AUD USD. We'll look at all this if the news comes out bad for the dollar. For the AUD USD, it's still the same setup, an uptrend on the weekly, a support on the daily, a falling wedge on 1 hour, and we are awaiting the breakout, provided the news comes out bad for the dollar. All right, those are the three main instruments I'm looking at, for the news. We are bearish on USD CHF, we are bullish on AUD USD, and we are bullish on GBP USD. So I want us to take note of those three instruments as we anticipate the release of the data by 2:30 p.m. Now, there are some other instruments I want us to put our attention on as they may evolve later today. And one of them is the AUD card. Now, this one has nothing to do with the news, but then I still advise you only look at it after the release of the news if the market goes in that direction. For AUD card, we can see that on the weekly time frame, price is trading on an uptrend line, and price currently is testing the trend line again. And if it's unable to break that trend line, we expect a reversal into the bullish direction. That's the weekly time frame. If we flip down to 1 hour, this is what we have. We have a falling wedge pattern from where we're expecting a bullish breakout. So if everything works out fine, we should see a massive bullish breakout on AUD card later today. So we're bullish on the AUD card. And finally, we look at the US oil. Now, I gave a signal on US oil yesterday morning during analysis. I remember analyzing that we're waiting for price to break above this high for us, because then I was seeing this as a double bottom pattern. However, the volatility was not strong enough to push it through. So instead of going up, it's reversed. But then it's currently trying to form what looks like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, for a massive bullish breakout. Now, this line still remains a neckline. So if price breaks out above it, though two things may happen. We may have an outright breakout, or price may want to repeat the same pattern here. Head, a shoulder, a second shoulder, also then a break. These are the two possibilities. Either we have a direct breakout, or it tries to come down again to form a second wave of shoulder here before the breakout. These are the two possibilities. But most importantly is that once price breaks above this current horizontal line, then we can look for an opportunity to buy the crude oil. Now, to aid this event, to aid this breakout, there's going to be a crude oil news by 5 p.m. today. I'm going back to the Forex factory. So there's crude oil inventory by 5 p.m. If the news comes out good, for the dollar, then we may see that. Just a second. If the news comes out bad for the dollar by 5 p.m., then that will lead to a bullish movement, because this is crude oil, US or USD. The dollar is a quote currency. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, that would trigger the bullish breakout on crude oil. And technically we are actually bearish on the dollar for the PPI and unemployment claim. So if it's the same data that comes out, negative data that comes out by 5 p.m., then that may lead to the trigger, for this one to buy. So I'm bullish on the crude oil. All right, that'll be all from my end. I'll just do a little recap of all I've said so far. For the news by 2:30 p.m., we are bearish on USD CHF. We are bullish on GBP USD. We are bullish on AUD USD. And for technical setup, we are bullish on AUD CAD, and we're also bullish on the US oil. All right, so that'll be all from my end this afternoon. If you have any question, you can just post it. I'll respond, and we'll round up this session. You can go ahead and post in the comment section. Question. GBP CHF. All right, I'll look at that briefly. This instrument has not been stable. I remember earlier in the week, we analyzed the double top here, and it has broken up. But after that, you can see that it's been ranging. It's possible it may continue downwards, but we don't know yet. And there's no pound news. But I think there'll be a GBP news tomorrow, so that might determine the next direction. But currently, it's in the range. I will not encourage a fresh trade. Let this range clear up before you start looking at a fresh range. But it's possible there may be a breakout here. Very possible. Because let's go down to the daily so that I'll be talking with facts. I think okay, there's actually is this resistance. That's the only thing we're working with here. That resistance on the weekly, and it's the same on the daily. You just have to wait for the next thing to happen. Like I'm not seeing any sign for now. This is just a range. So let's just see price, excuse me, breaking out either above or below the range. All right, so that's it for MK. Please kindly gold. Okay. I remember telling us of the bearish breakout on gold on Monday, which we confirmed has happened as at yesterday analysis. All right, so this is gold. You have a rising wedge on the daily time frame. You've seen a massive bearish breakout. There's just a minor support here. Price is around that minor support. Now, the news this afternoon will also play a large role in the next move of gold. If the news comes out not to favor the dollar, which is what we are anticipating, then that could lead to some retracement on gold. So if the news comes out against the dollar, bad for the dollar, then gold will buy. But if the news comes out good for the dollar, that is the dollar going in a bullish direction, gold might fall further. But technically, we are bearish on the dollar. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, we may see a reversal. Let me use what a retracement gold. But if a retracement happens, from my own personal view, it could also evolve into a long-term bearish direction on gold, with that place forming a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and a further bearish breakout. But I'm not saying ultimately that's what will happen. That's just what I'm anticipating, provided the news comes out bad for the dollar. Yeah, so that gold can go up. That's what I'm saying that may happen. Because if the news comes out bad for the dollar and gold goes up, it may now take this region here as a kind of a support turn resistance. So even if it's going to form a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder might hit this level and they break out further. So that's a long-term view for gold. But for now, for the short term, the news comes out bad for the dollar, then we'll see movement at least up to this zone. That is what is possible between today, tomorrow, thereabout for gold. GBP AUD, that's from Nwayo. All right. Pardon me if I didn't pronounce your name well. Okay, so this is GBP AUD. On the weekly time frame, price, we have a valid resistance zone up there on the weekly. On the daily, now this is today's candle here, forming what looks like a rejection candle. Let me zoom it out. Forming what looks like a rejection candle. Let's go down to 4-hour. Now, I would say you should trade this instrument with a lot of caution, because I'm also looking at it. On one angle, this looks a lot like it's forming an inverse head and shoulder for a bullish breakout. But currently, we are seeing a kind of decline due to this candle structure we have here. And let's zoom down to 1 hour. Okay, nothing much on 1 hour. Now, what I'm seeing happening here is that price is unable to break above this resistance zone. That's why you're seeing this decline. If volatility returns in the market, we may see a breakout back up there. But then if there's no volatility, well, it may continue dropping further downwards. So it's actually in it's in an unstable state at the moment. So you need to be very careful with this instrument for now. I can't give any direct instruction whether it's a bullish or bearish. It's not giving a lot of clarity. If you can stay out, the better. Please, I already have analyzed gold for you. What's your bias on Euro, EU, and GU? Now for Euro USD, on the weekly time frame, price is actually trading at a weekly support level. I have a value support here. This one is very, very close. This one is touching the support. So where price is actually on the support level on the weekly time frame. So if you zoom down to 1 hour, you can see the current candle is already giving us a sharp reaction. That's on the 1 hour. So we can just go ahead to draw our trend line and draw a second one to give us a falling wedge pattern. And we can anticipate a bullish breakout of price. So we're bullish on the Euro USD. And for GBP USD, I already analyzed that we're bearish on the GBP USD. Price is also at the support level on the weekly time frame. You can see the current candle also is trying to give a reversal. You can see we have reversal candles here already, and we're anticipating a bullish breakout. So we're bullish on both Euro USD and the GBP USD. Can I go ahead to sell gold? No, it's like you didn't get the analysis I gave on gold. I said gold, you need to wait for the news by 2:30. That's what will determine the ultimate direction of gold. And you can't even sell gold now because it's trading at a support, a minor support level currently. So it's not a time to sell. If anything at all, if the news comes out bad for the dollar, we should be looking at buying gold, not sell. Because technically we are bearish on the dollar. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, then we'll be looking to buy gold, not sell. So wait till 2:30. Let the news be released. Then you know whether you are buying or selling. Let me put it that way. All right, so I've attended to all the, okay, USD JPY, that'll be the last one I'll take. Now we're bearish on the dollar, but currently USD JPY, I'm not seeing, let me check again. I'm not seeing a valid, very valid setup. Except we want to just manage this area as support and support turn resistance. Except we just manage that one, which may still lead to a bearish direction. But generally, we are bearish on the dollar index, so we're looking for opportunity to sell the major currency pairs where the dollar is the base currency. So technically, we're looking to sell the USD JPY. So we're bearish on the USD JPY. Okay, I will just oblige MK. I will take that as my last analysis. BTC USD. Now we can see that BTC has been surging up lately. You know, immediately the election results in the US, excuse me. Since last week that the result of the election in the US was released, we've seen some bullish movement, not even some massive bullish movement on BTC USD. BTC hitting $90,000 per BTC, is current on $91,000 per BTC. But then this instrument is completely overbought on the daily time frame, completely overbought. And not only that, the candle for yesterday closed as a very, very sharp rejection candle. So it's possible we might at least see some retracement. It's possible we might see some retracement. If we go down to 4 hour, we're not seeing much. This is 1 hour. So 1 hour, I can just draw my trend line. And draw the second one to get a rising wedge. So If price breaks out below this, then it means I'm looking for opportunity to sell. But take note, it's going to be a short-term sell. My confirmation will be RSI below 50. I would advise if you are to sell, you can just sell to this support level. It's going to be short-term, at least to be on the safe side. It may go beyond that, but you just take what the market can give down here and be out of it. So I hold a temporary bearish outlook on the BTC USD. All right, that'll be all from us this afternoon. Don't forget today, our online bootcamp series starts today, from today, Thursday to Sunday. I think the time is 7 p.m., but please just watch out in your WhatsApp group. You get the correct timing, but usually we do it 7 p.m. But like I said, check your WhatsApp group. Don't miss this bootcamp session. You will learn a lot on how to trade. You know, it's our general training compressed into just 4 days. So in your WhatsApp group, you get the link and join us by the stipulated time to attend this class so they can gain more knowledge of how to trade the forex market. All right, that'll be all from us this afternoon. Take care and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rotimi. Have a nice weekend.
You too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice weekend.
Plenty time, brother. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.